Welcome back, everybody. So 324 obviously has had some problems, so I had some struggles with that, but I did get to do some testing on the server meshing with some salvaging, and I want to share what I found so far. All of it is pretty good, but before we do that, just showing some bounty hunting. That's what I've been doing on live, is pretty much bounty hunting. But this clip kind of embodied the challenges that are going on with 324 and why I haven't been able to make as much content. But let's get into it. Let's take a look at some of the findings I had. I did a little bit of salvaging. It's a small sample size. We'll take a look at what I found in the server mesh testing. So I did start off with a vulture. You can see there's two vultures here because the first one I took out, I got too close to the comm array and got taken out. So unfortunately, a little bit of testing there with the countermeasures, those weren't working as intended. I mean, it had no problem missile spamming. Unfortunately for me, the countermeasures didn't work quite as intended, so it did catch up with me. I got pretty close to the end of the range. Obviously, I'm out of the range now, so I did get pretty far with it. My front tines are missing here, so the ship was really unusable. So I went ahead and checked persistence at that point, so I did unload all of my gear into the vulture, and I was able to come back out and both salvage the vulture a bit as well as get my loot back, so at least from that perspective, the persistence was good. You can see here that the regeneration of RMC is occurring, which means there's a problem with the server. So we are about to have a 30k. So that was a common problem over the testing as well. I don't know how many people we currently had on live, but it felt pretty good gameplay wise. It's just unfortunate that the server turned into a potato here. So yeah, I mean, having to deal with 30k was not uncommon during these server mesh testing. But yeah, anyways, that was the problem we ran into here, and we'll get back into the server. So once I got back in the server, you can see God and everybody's on the tram at this point. There were about 12 to 15 people, so but there wasn't jittery or anything. Well, a little bit jittery, but I mean the people weren't kind of like lagging all over the place. So it felt pretty good, and everybody was commenting about that as well. Yeah, I mean, I thought the testing, I've only been able to take part in this one because it was up for a long enough period of time, but I mean, I was impressed. Again, I don't know how many people were really here, but at least from the perspective of having concentrated groups of people, it was pretty good. So I was fairly impressed overall. Again, I've only taken part of one test, but for what I saw, I was pretty happy. Makes me feel more comfortable while going into potentially seeing 4.0. Again, probably not by the end of this year, but I look more comfortable, at least it's going to probably happen. So I do try to get a reclaimer out here, and I ran into a weird bug where the ship just despawns. So these are some of the things I wanted to kind of see. So I have a usual habit of going up on my reclaimer and the initial elevator, the pilot elevator. And then I end up calling the elevator down as well, and then I just make my way to the pilot seat. But when I get to the pilot seat, that's where things get kind of weird here, where ship just goes away and I fall down. I don't fall to my death, so it's not like it kills me or anything. Sorry for the jump scare of the boots kind of hitting the ground there. It's kind of loud audio-wise. Actually, walking was loud at that point, but I was able to recall the reclaimer. It sent it back down, so I just retrieved at that point. I was able to take off successfully. I don't know why. Maybe some G-forces here, why I have kind of blood on my screen, like my character took damage. I don't think it actually did take damage, but at the end of the day, I was able to successfully take off here. Probably a little too bravely, trusting that the doors are still opening here, that I would be able to fit through without hitting the wall here. But anyways, I was able to successfully take off, because next I'm going to take a look at panels. So when I finally started looking for panels, I was not having a lot of success actually physically finding them. There were a few signals. It seemed like it was fewer than usual. You can see here I've got a proximity warning, because I've actually found a panel, but I don't visually see it. So I'm doing everything. You can see right there. I just hit it. So I'll try to be relatively quiet here, but I'm hitting the panel over and over. I don't see it. You can kind of see towards above the dome there. See that puff of smoke? So, like, it's there, but I'm not actually able to see it. Luckily, it's not blowing my ship up, but yeah, this happened a lot, actually. I was having a hell of a time. I actually only got one panel to show up, but I found 3 or 4 signals. So I kind of gave up on it, but panel stuff was not going well. So yeah, so this is the one panel I did get to find. It was part of a 10K signature, so there should have been 5 panels overall, but unfortunately I could only visually see this one panel. So I went ahead and salvaged it, but yeah, some of the signatures were pretty big. I think there was a 12K, a 20K, a 10K. Like, I was finding still big signatures, but I wasn't actually finding the panels until I found this one. So I decided, well, let's salvage it. So I do get in the seat. It did keep this is an older build, so I guess it kept the problem the reclaimer had about powering up. I don't see how they're messing their branches up this much, but yeah, they've messed their branches up. This is 5K speed, but yeah, I don't want to bore you with the details of actually salvaging it. All the salvage stuff seemed to be perfectly fine, again, minus the panels. For whatever reason, I could not get those panels to show up. So I don't know if that was an issue with the server mesh. I mean, it must be, because they don't, I mean, I know they're bad in live, but they're not this bad, at least from what I could tell. Yeah, that's about it. I salvaged this panel. I had actually previously went outside to kind of find the panels as well, but no luck from that end. So when I got back to my ship is when I went ahead and processed this salvage. This is just 4 RMC from this small sliver. So I went ahead and printed that box, and then I take that box back to Orison, and I don't end up selling it. I just happen to print the box, send it down to the hangar, and then take it from the hangar to the freight elevator and send it down. So I'm just going to show you that I got it into the hangar. So, I mean, from the perspective of most things, it'll all work. I was interested to see if the reclaimer would be set up, split up into different servers, but we're just not at that level yet. It's not that micro-granular. So there should be some point where that could happen, where you can be like the front of your ship and then the back of your ship might be a separate server. But for now, I couldn't find that divide. There just wasn't enough people in the test. But all in all, it was a good test. I enjoyed it. And I appreciate y'all to take time to watch it and catch the video. And I'll catch y'all next time. Peace. Found all these weave legs for Scooter and Mima, but unfortunately, Rios wasn't working, so I couldn't sell them to him. Maybe next time.